This Curse of the Pharaoh, Part 4C. Now we're talking about treasures lost at sea. If it's to talk about the Spanish Inquisition and why the Curse of the Pharaoh is on the Spanish. Okay, that's the first one. The Spanish, the French, and the British. And even Anglo-America, the Illuminati. Okay, and all the European Union that has the treasure of Egypt in Europe. Okay, let's talk about it. Okay. It says many accounts based at least in part on marine history have been written of sunken treasure ships. For example, the Spanish galleon, the Santa Rosa, is supposed to have gone down in 50 feet of water off the island of Key West, Florida, about 1520. Well, that was the year after Hernan Cortez came to conquer the Aztecs. Okay. At the time, the ship was said to be carrying 25 million to 35 million worth, $35 million worth of gold in the year 1520. Okay. Which the Aztec Indians had paid to Hernando Cortez to free the captured Aztec chief Montezuma. Another Spanish galleon was called the Santa Margarita, struck a reef in Sebastian Inlet north of Vero Beach, Florida in 1595 and sank with a cargo of silver bullion valued at $7 million in the year 1595. In 1702, a combined British and Dutch fleet sank 13 Spanish galleons in Vigo Bay, Spain. The galleons carried an estimated $150 million worth of loot seized in the New World. $150 million worth of treasure from the pre-Columbian era of America. So that's why I have enmity in my heart. My whole empire was worth so much money. You add all those millions of dollars, that's like $1 billion worth of treasure that they have stolen from the pre-Columbian era of America. The Olmecs, the Toltecs, the Aztecs, the Inca, the Maya. Over $1 billion worth of treasure. That's how they built their government over us. And that's why they forced us into slavery. So, well, attempted to. For so long. It says a hurricane in 1715 destroyed 14 Spanish ships, which was loaded with $65 million in treasure off of Lone Cay, Florida. It was called the Brock, a war sloop, sank off about a mile off of Lewis, Delaware in 1798 with $15 million worth of bullion, coin, and jewels. So there's buried treasure at sea. The sea has given up all the treasure of the Aztecs, the Inca, and the Maya. It's lost at sea. Look how, this is my enmity. This is why I'm so angry. What was these people's life worth? If their life was destroyed by the Spanish people and everything they own that the Spanish tried to steal away from them, damn near everything was lost at sea. That whole empire went down the drain. That's why it's called the lost city of Atlantis. It's lost at sea. You know, I mean, that's how I feel about everything I have accomplished in life. Why live on the earth if you're going to be ruined like this? Lost at sea. Everything that you have possibly accomplished, what you was created to do, was just thrown down by some evil schism that came over your empire. Now it's lost at sea. The lost city of Atlantis. To North Titland. It also says buried treasure also attracts many treasure seekers. In 1948, a lobster fisherman found some gold coins dating from the mid 1700s on a riverbank near Raritan Bay inside Sandy Hook, New Jersey. This is an area once frequented by pirates. So many amateur treasure hunters began digging up the ground in the area that the state police had to be called out to protect the property of local residents. According to legend, other pirate gold lies buried in Florida. One story holds that a pirate named John Rackham buried millions in loot about 10 miles up the Shark River in the Everglades. The notorious pirate, Blackbeard, is supposed to have buried treasure near the resort town of Boca Raton in Florida. So I feel like knowing these stories, I know that there's great treasure buried. Great treasures lost at sea. And it belongs to my ancestors. That's why I'm so caught up in this. That's why I'm so fascinated with this. I don't want to listen to the Europeans tell the story anymore about Christopher Columbus discovering America and the beginning of the New World Order. Fuck that shit. I'm through listening to that. Now, this is a program called Encounters Unseen. And they supposed to be doing this on the History Channel. You know, I took this out of the Smithsonian Magazine. But I call myself doing the same thing right now. I'm retelling the story that they're going to get on the History Channel and retell you. And this is what it says. It says, the history of 1492 dramatized from a bicultural perspective, fictionalizing the life stories and beliefs of the historic Taino chieftains who met Columbus side by side with those of Columbus and Queen Isabella. Based closely on primary sources in anthropological studies, Rowan's research is nothing less than breathtaking. The sensitivity and the originality of his portrayals are equally impressive, remarkably new and inventive, says Kirkus Reviews. The encounter of Columbus and native Caribbean people set in motion events that created the modern world. Rowan transports us to this moment of creation, and does so by tracing the lives of the main protagonists. This is a fascinating story of enmeshed lives and the consequences of the new worlds. It is written with scrupulous detail to historical accuracy, says William F. Keegan, curator of Caribbean Archaeology, Florida Museum of Natural History. The Taino Indian Myth and Practice, the people who discovered Columbus. Riveting, a literary masterpiece that is as deftly complex as it is consistently entertaining, says Midwest Book Review. Amazing, the lives, loves, victories, and defeats of the Taino Indians are just a meticulously and poignantly brought to life as Columbus's famous voyage in Queen Isabella's court, a sprawling, globe-trotting, all-consuming tour de force illuminating all sides of the epic cultural clash that created the New World. This is by Andrew Bowen. But the key word he said in the beginning, fictionalizing it. Fiction. It's not true. That's why I'm doing this program, the Niggerspedia Negranica. I'm going to give you the God's honest truth, the big black truth that's going to crush all those little white lies. All right. We're going to talk about other Spanish explorers during the same period of the Spanish Inquisition. Okay. And the last voyage of Christopher Columbus, because I am terribly angry. It's a different point of view how we see Christopher Columbus came here to enslave the Indians. He didn't come here to be friendly. They came to rob us. They came here to lie, cheat, and steal everything from us. And they stole over $1 billion worth of treasure and loot from the pre-Columbian empires that were here in the three Americas. and then lost it at sea. That's the big thing. They didn't keep it. They didn't get it to take it home with them. They lost it at sea. Okay, that's what I'm terribly angry about. So let's talk about the last days